really is something, isn't it? How these little black and white squares, QR codes are just everywhere now. Restaurant menus, factory floors, concert tickets. Our mission today is to really unpack that. How did this simple grid become, well, basically the main gateway between the physical stuff around us and the digital world? We've done the reading, so you don't have to.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because it wasn't just luck. There are really three big things behind it. First, the tech itself was just better than the old barcodes. Then there was this huge, pivotal decision the creators made about the patent. And finally, the timing. It just hit perfectly with smartphones taking off, and then, of course, the pandemic gave it a massive push.
Okay, let's dive in then. Where did this even start? What was the problem back in the 90s that needed fixing?
Well, think about Japan in the 1990s. The car industry was booming, right? But the barcodes they were using, the standard one-dimensional ones, they could only hold about 20, maybe 25 characters. Imagine needing 10 different barcodes on one box of parts. It was inefficient.
Yeah, 10 barcodes.
Yeah, and you had to scan them just right, only one direction. It was frustrating. People were even getting carpal tunnel from manually typing in prices when scans failed.
Okay, so definitely a headache.
Yeah.
How do we get from that line to this square then?
So this is where Masahiro Hara at Denso Wave comes in. He apparently had this aha moment while playing Go, the board game.
Okay, with the grid and the stones?
Exactly. He saw how a grid could hold a lot of information. That sparked the idea for a 2D matrix. But the real breakthrough, the thing that made it quick response, was figuring out the finder patterns, those three squares in the corners.
The iconic ones.
Yep. They have this specific 1.1.3.1.1 ratio of black to white. It's apparently quite rare in images, so scanners could find it instantly from any angle. Omnidirectional scanning. Huge deal.
Okay, so clever design. But you mentioned the patent decision. That sounds really key. What happened there?
Right, this is, I think, critical. Denso Wave got the patent, but then they did something pretty radical. They decided not to charge licensing fees. They kept the patent rights, but made the technology free for anyone, anywhere to use.
Wow, just gave it away. Why?
It was incredible foresight, really. They wanted it to become a standard, widely adopted, and making it free just fueled innovation way beyond what they could have done alone. A truly open patent strategy, focused on the long game.
And technically it's tough too.
Absolutely. It uses something called Reed-Solomon error correction. Same kind of tech used on CDs, actually. It means the QR code can be damaged, like scratched or dirty, up to 30% and still scan correctly.
30%? That's impressive.
It is. Plus, the data capacity is just vastly bigger than barcodes. We're talking over 7,000 numbers, or, almost 2,000 complex kanji characters in one little square.
So, great tech, free to use. But adoption wasn't instant, was it?
No, it was definitely a slow burn at first. Japan had it on phones back in 2002, but in the West, a lot of people just called it a fad, kind of dismissed it. The real game changer, the tipping point, was 2017. That's when Apple put a QR scanner right into the main camera app on iPhones with iOS 11.
So no need for a separate app anymore.
Exactly. Android followed suit. Suddenly, billions of people had a scanner in their pocket without even thinking about it. That removed all the friction.
And then COVID hit.
And that was the huge accelerant. Suddenly, contactless, everything was essential. Menus, payments, health checks, check-ins, QR codes were the perfect solution. It went from a niche tech to a global habit almost overnight.
So let's talk impact. The economic side is staggering. What are we looking at?
The numbers are huge. The global market for payments via QR code is projected to hit something like $66.9 billion by 2034. It's massive.
$67 billion. Wow.
Yeah, and it's not just the volume, it's about access. Think about places like China with Alipay and WeChat Pay, or India with UPI. QR codes let millions of small merchants accept digital payments easily. It's driving huge financial inclusion.
So Asia Pacific is really leading the charge.
Definitely dominates. But North America is catching up fast. The US actually leads in the sheer number of scans globally now.
And for businesses, for marketing, it bridges that physical-digital gap, right?
Perfectly. You put a QR code on a poster, a product, whatever, and suddenly you have trackable engagement. Click-through rates average around 37%, which is pretty good for marketing campaigns.
Any standout example?
Well, there was a Verizon campaign that reportedly got a 35-to-1 return on investment using QR codes. And look ahead, there's this Sunrise 2027 initiative aiming to replace old barcodes with QR codes at retail checkouts globally.
Okay, but it can't all be positive. With any tech this common, there's got to be a downside. The the security risks.
Yeah, that's the dark side. We're seeing a huge rise in quishing. That's QR code phishing.
Phishing, okay.
Attackers create malicious QR codes. You scan it, thinking it's a legit, maybe for parking or a menu, but it takes you to a fake site to steal your info or installs malware. Because we trust QR codes now and they bypass typical email filters, attacks surged like 1,400% between 2021 and 2023.
1,400%. So what can you do?
Be careful. Use your phone's built-in camera app. Many will preview the URL before opening it. Check the link looks right. If it's an unexpected request, maybe asking for login details or payment, verify it some other way. Don't just blindly scan and click.
Advice. Okay, looking forward then, where does the QR code go next? Is it just links and payments?
I think it's becoming much more. Think of it as an experience trigger for augmented reality, for instance. Scan a code on an IKEA catalog, see the furniture in your room. L'Oreal uses it for virtual makeup try-ons.
Like AR experiences.
Exactly. And for the Internet of Things, IoT, QR codes can enable zero-touch provisioning. Scan a code on a new smart device and it configures itself automatically onto your network. Super simple setup. Plus, imagine integrating AI. The code itself might stay the same, but the content it points to could become dynamic, personalized just for you based on context.
So, quite a future still ahead for this simple square. It really boils down to that ingenious design, DensoWave's incredible decision to make it open, and then just perfect timing with smartphones and, well, pandemic.
Absolutely. It started solving a very specific problem in Japanese factories and somehow became, you could almost say, the universal API call for the physical world. You scan something real and it triggers complex digital actions. It's blurring those lines between physical and digital.
Drive for more insights into our AI future.